All right, guys, we are back again. Another episode of Crucial Conversations with my favorite human in the world. Oh my gosh, she hates when I do this, but I love doing it because she hates. Ooh,
anyway,
let's lock hands.
Let's not.
If you lock hands, that means he really likes you.
Yeah, we don't. So I'm also not a he.
So I guess she doesn't really like
I
me.
love you.
Oh, you're going to love me.
Only because I love you. In a normal person, no. Anyway, guys, so a couple weeks ago, the CEO of Wells Fargo was like, oh, we don't have a lot of diversity because there aren't a lot of like black talent. There is not a lot of black talent around the nation, which I find very hard to believe. So today's Crucial Conversation is about
pause. Did he say there wasn't talent or it's very hard to find black talent?
Ooh.
Let's make sure we fact check.
We'll fact check because, you know what? Let me fact check right now because I don't have the exact quote. Let's see.
Okay, so that is an iPhone, not an Android. Do you need help? Okay.
First of all, don't do me, everyone. Don't do me on the screen.
Okay.
But we can fact check. I believe he said there is not a lot of diversity at Wells Fargo because there is a lack of black talent. I want to say was verbatim what he said.
Let's see.
Chris may have to cut some of this waiting time out.
So,
Wells Fargo CEO lack of diversity.
Fargo CEO lack of black talent. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wells Fargo CEO apologizes for blaming lack of diversity on the limited pool of black talent. Wells Fargo CEO Charles, what is that? Short, I don't know. Something, apologized in a company-wide memo on Wednesday for twice blaming the bank's lack of employee diversity on a very limited pool of black talent. I agree with him, but that's because of how our country was structured. Even as black individuals, I do. It's very hard to find. There are so many talented black people.
Right.
But where do you find them? We even struggle finding them in our own cities.
So so the verbiage is what he used, right? So it's like the limited pool. That's not to say that it's a lack of black talent. I think he was saying more so that he can't. Oof.
The limited pool, I agree. Look at your black professional networks.
Okay.
Why in every city you go, and even us being connected as business partners, it's crazy.
Right.
How big this world is, but because we are two black Caribbean women, our circle shrinks that much smaller because of the professional careers that we've endeavored. Like, our friends are connected to friends of friends, and I'm like, that's crazy to me.
But I don't think there's a limited pool. I just don't know if he's not searching hard enough. So to me, it's like,
even if there is a limited pool, I think it just shows that it's because the way our country has been structured.
Well, I agree with that, but I think that there's a level of ignorance within it because it's like, okay, how hard have you looked? Yeah, do your due diligence. So we know, even in Miami, like, there's a certain pool of like upper echelon black professionals because we're trying to find them. I'm gonna be real. We're trying to find them. It's very hard. The people who are above us, who can teach us, who can guide us, and who can grow with us, it is hard to find them. I'll give you that. And even in St. Pete, when we're looking at our second location, like, it's hard to find that too. But I don't think that it's because it's limited. I think that it's just not as prevalent, like you said. So I think also
if it's not as prevalent, is that not side by side?
I personally don't think so because I'm analytical and I also think at like the pragmatics of it. So limited pool to me means that it doesn't exist. Not as prevalent means that it's just hard to find. So it doesn't mean that it's not out there. It just means that it's harder to find. But again, my brain is like super granular to like the most finite definition.
I mean, I'm not offended by what he said because I do believe there is a limited pool. So great. Now that you know that, Wells Fargo, you guys have a lot of money. What can you do to fix that?
But I think that's the conversation is like, what solutions have you done? If you've already identified the problem, like, what are you doing to fix that problem?
Maybe they're having that conversation internally.
Maybe they are. But I do know that Wells Fargo has had, even from like, I think it was like 8 years ago when they were taking advantage of certain employees and like firing them because they were identifying that the banks were taking advantage of lessers. It's like there's always like Wells Fargo doesn't have that great of leadership, and I bank with them.
I've been banking with them since age of 15. It's been
Yeah.
almost 15 years.
Yeah, I bank with them, so it is hard to tell. But I think solution based, like bringing it back to a solution. I agree with you. Now that they identified it, hopefully they're coming to find a solution. But I don't know. I'm not on Wells Fargo leadership. I just think that.
But again, this episode's called. This series is called Crucial Conversations.
It is.
I think clearly Jeanine and I are on two different spectrums of what we believe on this. I think that what he said is not offensive. I think clearly now that he has stated a clear problem within the United States and across the globe, that now that you work for such a big entity, what can you do with your dollars to make that not a limited pool anymore?
I agree with that.
So maybe that's like now you start structuring from all HBCUs, you funnel a ton of interns every single year, paid, get them trained so that they can start holding these C-level positions.
I agree with that. My reservation is whether or not that's going to happen because it's Wells Fargo.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know enough about internally of that company's history and
I get
to
it.
even speak
so
on that.
I've listened to a lot of podcasts on Planet Money, which is NPR economics, love it, but they've had historically several problems with like their management and how they handle things internally. So that's where probably my reservations are coming from. And because they've cheated a lot of their employees about money when they I don't want to call them whistleblowers, but when they made these external situations aware to the outside public. But at the same time, I do agree with you to a certain extent. But I think our views still align, which is why I do like the crucial conversations.
Right.
Because we may not agree on everything, but
crucial conversations. Do you guys think that there's a lack of black talent in your city or even in the city that we live in here in Miami? Drop a message below. Tell us what you think.
Comment, like, subscribe.
Cheers!
Cheers!
To more black talent through Thynk Global.
Funnel it.